What's going on, guys? I'm Jackson for We Major Anime, and welcome to our channel. For this series of videos, we're going to be breaking down and talking about the Naruto timeline. So the first things that happens in the Naruto timeline is Kaguya and Ishiki Otsutsuki descend to the earth and try to plant the chakra fruit. The chakra fruit is basically, well, I guess they're planting the god tree. The god tree basically grows this giant fruit if you sacrifice an Otsutsuki life to it that the other Otsutsuki will eat, and they will gain enormous amounts of power. This will cause them to grow a Rinne Sharingan, the strongest of all dojutsu, on their forehead, and they will be able to reflect it off the moon to cast the world in a giant genjutsu. So when they first descend, Kaguya meets Tenji, the emperor of the Land of Ancestors, a human. They fall in love and get married. The Land of Ancestors at the time was warring with another land called the Land of That, and the Land of That kidnapped Kaguya. In self-defense of her being kidnapped, she showed her power for the first time and killed so many soldiers, causing an all-out war between the Land of Ancestors and the Land of That. Tenji is now terrified of Kaguya because he never realized before that she had that kind of power. He was just trying to clap some alien cheeks. So now Tenji, seeing this power from Kaguya, is absolutely terrified of her. He had no idea that she had any type of power. He just thought she was like from another planet. So he betrays her and starts teaming up with the Land of That. This really pisses Kaguya off, and she just goes, sacrifices her partner Ishiki, and betrays him as well to make the god tree. When the Otsutsuki descended, they come in pairs. One of them is the sacrifice to the god tree. It's normally the lower ranking Otsutsuki, which in this case was Kaguya. So she betrayed Ishiki and threw his lower half to the ghetto statue to make the god tree. She instantly goes up and casts her Rinne Sharingan off the moon, making infinite Tsukuyomi, which makes the tree cocoon everybody on the earth and suck up their chakra, but puts them in a genjutsu dream that is basically paradise in their own head. This ended up killing Tenji. However, she ended up giving birth to two of his children, Hagoromo and Hamura, twin brothers. Hagoromo was born with the Rinnegan, which in the main timeline is known as the strongest of all the dojutsu. And Hamura was born with the Byakugan, which is the inherent eyes that most, if not all, the Otsutsuki have. Her sons, being enraged with what she's doing to all the people of the earth, decide that they're going to team up and take her out. They seal her into the moon using Hagoromo's planetary devastation, which is a Rinnegan ability, and seal her away. But as she's being sealed away, she releases Black Zetsu, which is basically the physical embodiment of her will out into the earth. Black Zetsu's job is to make sure that she can be reincarnated or brought back to earth so that she can harvest the chakra tree once again. Doing this, Hagoromo then absorbs the Ten Tails and becomes the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, which ultimately also gave him the name the Sage of Six Paths, also effectively making him the strongest person on earth like ever. And he decides to put the rest of his life towards spreading peace through something called ninshu, which is the use of your spiritual energy, which is half of what makes chakra. Later down the road, this would be turned into ninjutsu, which is highly based off ninshu. While Hamura leaves to go watch over the moon, making sure Kaguya can't escape and that the earth is safe. Hagoromo ends up having two sons named Indra and Ashura, who in my opinion are two of the most important characters in the whole show. They influence almost everything about what happens throughout the rest of the series. Hagoromo's life is coming to an end, and he sends out Indra and Ashura to go spread ninshu themselves and create peace among lands, make struggling lands start prospering again. That was their job. Indra wanted to spread the peace through power, while Ashura wanted to spread the peace through love. Ashura being the less naturally talented of the two siblings, was more friendly and wanted help from others, while Indra wanted to do everything by himself and just use his power because he was born a genius. On Hagoromo's deathbed, he had to decide who the successor of the following of Ninshu. He ended up choosing his younger son Ashura because he believed more in his ideals of spreading peace through love than Indra using fear to control people into what I would call a fake peace. Over this, Indra flies into a rage, vowing war on Ashura for the rest of their lives, as well as vowing war of all their ancestors and reincarnations down the line. They both went on to start their own respective clans. Indra started the Uchiha and Ashura started the Senju. It is around this time that Black Zetsu made his first move and went and altered the stone tablet in the Nakano Shrine, which is something that Hagoromo left for the Uchiha, telling them about how to power up and control their eyes, basically. He did this as a manipulation tactic to make the Uchiha breed hatred. As Indra and Ashura both pass away, this begins what is called the Warring States period. Around this time, countries are much smaller and don't have the manpower that they would have at one time. So instead of using their own soldiers, they hire mercenary clans of soldiers. And by this time, the Uchiha and the Senju were by far the strongest of the two clans. So when one country would hire the Uchiha to help, the other country that they were fighting against would always hire the Senju. And it was a constant warring between the two clans for hundreds of years, almost millennia. Further towards the end of the Warring States period, Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju both become into the fold. Madara is the oldest of 5 siblings, and Hashirama is the oldest of 4. However, due to their clan's constant warring, Madara lost 3 of his younger brothers and was only left with his younger brother Izuna, while Hashirama lost 2 of his younger brothers and only was left with his younger brother Tobirama. One day, Hashirama was out on the river skipping stones, just having a thought process to himself, just thinking about life, and that's the first time he met Madara Uchiha. The boys decide they can't share each other's names, but they become quick friends because they're very opposite, and there's always that saying, the opposites attract. They became quick friends, and they talked about how were both tired of their clans warring and didn't want to see children in fighting in wars anymore at all. Matter of fact, they didn't like the fact that their clans were fighting to begin with. These two clans were fighting for so long that they forgot why they were fighting. Like, they were just fighting to fight at that point. Both families learn of these encounters between Madara and Hashirama, and they decide to ambush each other. While no real fight breaks out between the families, Hashirama and Madara decide they can't really be friends due to their differing clans. After tens of years fighting each other, Madara and Hashirama both become their respective clans' leaders. During one of these battles, Tobirama uses this thing called a flying Raijin slice, which is when he teleports to you and slices you in half, on Izuna Uchiha, Madara's younger brother. Following this, Madara takes defeat, carries his brother's body away, and takes his eyes, putting them into his own face, unlocking what is called Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is regarded by the Uchiha as the strongest of all the dojutsu, the perfect dojutsu. Madara and Hashirama battle again, and just like every other time, Hashirama just absolutely shits on him. And as he's standing over him, he asks if they can have peace. And Madara said, no, we can only have peace if you kill yourself. Hashirama draws a blade and prepares to commit seppuku, and Madara actually ends up stopping him from doing this. Seeing what he was willing to do to start the peace and end the fighting, decided to join hands with Hashirama, and they went on to create the Hidden Leaf Village. Other clans such as the Nara, the Akimichi, the Yamanaka, the Sarutobi, and the Shimura all also joined the Leaf Village, really strengthening their fighting power, making them not someone you want to mess with if you're in another village. During this, the Fire Daimyo, or the feudal lord of the Land of Fire, dictates that the village needs to appoint a leader, which will also become known as the Hokage. Hashirama really wants Madara to be this leader. He thinks he'd be a great leader and a great example for the rest of the village. However, Tobirama disagrees and decides that they should put it up to a vote. And Hashirama is almost unanimously chosen as the leader. And, I mean, can you really blame them? You don't want to pick the guy to lead the village that just got shit on and then ask the guy who shit on him to kill himself. It just doesn't seem right. Alright guys, if you made it to the end of the video, you clearly enjoyed it, so please throw a like on the video, subscribe to the page, and turn on the notifications so you can see when we drop part 2. Thank you so much and have a great day.